there is seating in the governor's conference room, which is just down the hall, and we can get you escorted back there if you would like. If you find where you are, then we're all good to have. We do need to keep walking space through here, and do mind your filling, because there's sensitive plugs and things that are allowed to. That's it, and it should be, we're hoping within 10 minutes to begin. Thank you so much. received an update that we may be starting closer to 12:30. So apologies. Let us know if you need anything. Aloha, everyone, and thank you very much for the gift of your time in joining us here today. Today, Governor Josh Green will sign several bills to support Hawaii's education system and the community at large. These bills will establish programs to protect and support our beloved keiki and kupuna. Facilitated questions and answers will follow promptly after remarks conclude, and the formal bill signing will commence shortly thereafter. Now it is my great pleasure to introduce to you Governor Josh Green.
Aloha. So good afternoon, everyone. We're going to do, as we just described, a series of bill signings today, mostly supporting our keiki and focusing on education. Huge credit, thank you, Chair Kadani. And also to support our kupuna. So there's a series of things we're going to go through. The first bills highlight kind of food insecurity. And we have one of the greatest challenges in our country to feed our keiki. This has become a priority for the First Lady, and so I want to give special attention and credit to what Jamie has been fighting for. In order to help our children thrive in school, they have to be well nourished. They can't focus otherwise. All the data shows that. So there's something special here to announce today. But we're not just helping our keiki in that way. We're also going to look at our kupuna, who also have been very vulnerable. And our population for our elderly is expanding at a significant rate, so we've had to do much more to support those who are baby boomers. So we're going to talk about another bill, which is the Silver Alert Program. Our legislature has been extraordinary this year in advocating for children and our elderly. So go to the next slide, please. Okay, so this is one to be proud of. This is what I was referencing regarding First Lady. So House Bill 2430 establishes the state of Hawaii's commitment to summer EBT for our keiki. What does it do? It empowers our DOE and DHS to work together to maximize our participation in this program. So the legislature came up with $2.1 million, and it was Jamie's outreach and the work from our team to get that money, because it's matched with very significant monies. It's matched with $18 million in federal funding. So it becomes a $20 million boost for nutrition for our children. This is really meant to support the federal program's 50-50 required match. And so when the Biden administration reached out to us to fight for this, this became an immediate priority. It also aims to reduce just hunger and food insecurity in general, because as we all know, in the summertime, when our kids are away from school, that may be the one meal or two meals that they lose. So it's really totally important. According to the U.S. Department of Ag, the summer EBD program will help 100,000 Hawaii families. And so this is no small achievement. So really mahalo to the legislature, to our new director, DHS, jumped right in. So thank you, Ryan. So that's a big deal. And this is going to advance our work on food insecurity, and Jamie and I are going to be focusing on this for the coming years. That's our first bill. Next bill, Senate Bill 2475 and HB 2400, Protect Our Keiki from Harm. What do these bills do? So the first bill, 2475, establishes our Harm to Students Registry to create additional safeguard for our students, maintain safe learning environments. This has been a very big deal because we're worried about individuals that could inflict harm against our students. Many teachers have retired or resigned because they were afraid of different circumstances. So we've decided to weigh in. The legislature did it in a new way with House Bill 2400. What this basically says is it ensures the teachers who resigned in lieu of termination would not retain their teaching licenses outside of the state where they could harm additional students. So we're trying to protect students in general, and we're also looking out for the teachers just as a class, because the good teachers obviously need to be protected. This is valuable action. I got to tell you, there are not many cases like this, but it scares us when any one student could be harmed. So this is absolutely important legislation. And what the legislature was saying, in essence, was it's unacceptable for anyone, any teacher who's been accused of a serious misconduct, to evade accountability. And so, again, for parents, we want you to know that we're always going to look out for the kids. And we also honor what the DOE has been doing for years to make sure we have a great teaching workforce. So that's what those two bills are. Let's pop over to the next bill, Senate Bill 2305. This is establishing this statewide Silver Alert Program. Now, we all know that there's already a program when children go missing, which is terrifying, and we're able to have an alert. But it occurred to us in the course of discussions that as we have an aging population, some of our kupuna are vulnerable. So what does this bill do? It establishes the Silver Alert program in the Department of Law Enforcement so that we can help locate individuals who might go missing if someone's wandering, if someone's got Alzheimer's disease. So if they're 65 years or older, cognitively impaired, we have an ability to now go signal this alert and go and save them or find that individual for our families. It will help give law enforcement a lot of additional immediate information, and that's just plain important. We definitely have had concerns across the state. So we're going to continue to age. The population is going to peak or crest at around 2030, and then it will come down, and that has a great impact on so many things because it's not just those who might be suffering from memory disability, and it, of course, has its impact on Medicare, but also it really is going to impact, as we age to the max, what we can do for our kupuna. So let's go to the last bill. This last bill is House Bill 2224. And House Bill 2224 is a mandate for our Executive Office on Aging to coordinate with the State Health Planning Department. I see Jack here. It's very important because we have to have a comprehensive plan to know how we're going to actually provide care in the long-term settings. It is critical because right now we simply don't have enough capacity or caregivers to care for all of our kupuna. And so it was very thoughtful of the legislature to weigh in on that. So essentially, if I was going to give you a summary, we are focusing on the very young and the very old. And these are our vulnerable communities often in our state. So we're going to be feeding kids in the summertime, and we're going to be looking out for our adults if they're quite elderly anytime when they're in harm's way. Last slide. Obligatory I like kids slide by the beach. But really, I want to thank the legislature for doing so much work on this year. Forgive me for feeling rushed. I just want to make sure that all of our legislative leaders get a chance to share their manalo. Aloha.
Mahalo, Governor Green. Now it is also my honor to introduce to you Lieutenant Governor Sylvia Luke.
Good afternoon and aloha. You know, in addition to the bills that have been mentioned by the governor, and we just wanted to thank the legislature and this governor and his administration for such a good work this year. There are a few bills that we have been working on as part of our Ready KEIKI initiative, and it will not be signed today, but it will be mentioned as part of the package. After the governor took office, one of the things that he has asked me to do is work on early learning, and we launched Ready KEIKI initiative last year. And thanks to everyone and their efforts, we successfully were able to open up 13 classrooms last year. This August, we'll be opening about 45 new preschool classrooms, public preschool classrooms throughout the state. So what we would like to do is encourage, if you have 3 or 4-year-olds, or if you know people with 3 or 4-year-olds, go to our website, readykeiki.org, and see if there's a preschool opening next to you. The bill that is really important that has already been enacted is that it allows for Executive Office of Early Learning to not just open preschool in public preschools or in DOE facility. It allows for public preschools to open in state buildings. This is the next section of things that are really important because it will allow the state to open and operate preschools at libraries. We're already looking at 2 library sites. Or it has a potential of opening up preschools at state buildings, whether it's at the state capitol or Department of Transportation, where the workforce is. So that is a really important component. The next section of the law that has been enacted, thanks to the governor, is what's known as Preschool Open Doors. Preschool Open Doors is an opportunity for 3 and 4-year-olds of asset-limited families to have subsidy from the state to send their child to a private preschool. Last year and the last several years, the amount that the state has expended for asset-limited families was about $5 million. This new law, what it will do is it will allow, as opposed to having a restricted time period where you can have open enrollment, where the open enrollment has already closed, it will allow open enrollment throughout the year. And because of that, a lot more families could qualify. So far, as opposed to the last several years, where only about $5 million was expended, currently, between the time that we had open enrollment from January till around June, about $25 million has already been committed for our working families. Thanks to the governor, thanks to the legislature, last year, they appropriated $50 million for asset-limited families to be able to send their kids to preschool. So again, if you know parents, if you know grandparents or families with 3- and 4-year-olds, have them go to the website and have them enroll in both the Preschool Open Doors program and the Early Learning program. Thank you again. Thank you to Senator Kidani. Thank you to Representative Woodson, who is not present. Thank you to the Department of Education for your terrific work in making sure that we have access to preschool education and preschool learning for many of our children. Mahalo. Mahalo, Dr. Green.
Mahalo, Lieutenant Governor Luke. Up next, please welcome Senator Michelle Kidani, Chair of the Senate Committee on Education.
Aloha mai kako. Today marks a significant milestone for our state as we gather to sign into law several pivotal education bills that will ensure the safety of our keiki in our schools. I am deeply honored to stand alongside Governor Green and Lieutenant Governor Luke and Superintendent Hayashi, as well as President Mike Latham, Punahou Schools, to celebrate these achievements. Senate Bill 2475 establishes a Harm to Students registry for all early learning programs and K-12 educational institutions across the state. This registry will contain information on school employees, contractors, or volunteers by creating a comprehensive database shared among education institutions in the state. This measure, the first of its kind in Hawaii, closes a loophole that allows predatory school personnel to move between various schools undetected. As a grandmother of public school children, I understand firsthand the importance of these measures and share the concerns of many parents regarding the safety of their keiki. Every day we entrust our schools with the most precious members of our families, hoping and expecting that they will be cared for and protected. Knowing that all of our keiki will benefit from these measures gives me immense peace of mind, as I'm sure it does you. They reflect our commitment to education, safety, and the well-being of our keiki. I want to extend my deepest gratitude to Governor Green, Superintendent Hayashi, Lieutenant Governor Luke, and my colleagues, as well as Senate President Kochi and President Latham, my colleagues at the state legislature, and all the advocates and community members who have worked tirelessly to bring these measures to fruition. Together, we are making Hawaii a safer place, a healthier place, and a more supportive place for our keiki. Mahalo.
Mahalo, Senator Kidani. Next, I would like to introduce Keith Hayashi, Superintendent of the Department of Education.
Aloha and good afternoon. Thank you, Governor Green, for your leadership and dedication to protecting our students. I am honored to be here today to witness the signing of these crucial bills, and in particular, Senate Bill 2475. As shared, this bill establishes a harm to student registry which will be an essential tool in safeguarding our children across all educational institutions in our state. The registry will include information on school employees, contractors, and volunteers who have been found to have inflicted harm on students following a thorough investigation. By identifying individuals who pose a risk to students, we can prevent them from moving between school systems and continuing to harm students. This has been a truly collaborative effort, and I want to thank all of our stakeholders involved, including our private school counterparts. Philip Bossert, Executive Director for the Hawaii Association of Independent Schools, and Michael Latham, President of Punahou School. Thank you also to our two education chairs, Senate Education Chair Michelle Kidani, and House Education Chair Justin Woodson, and House Judiciary and Hawaiian Affairs Chair David Tarnis, as well as all of the members of the House and Senate who helped pass this measure. Together, we are making schools safe and stronger for every student in our state. Thank you.
Mahalo, Superintendent. At this time, we will take any questions from the media who are present.
I am going to invite the good Governor Josh Green up to the podium with our first and only question from Andrew Gomes, Hawaii News Now. Kalamai, Honolulu Star Advertiser, just checking that you're maka'ala today. He's so mad at me now.
No, that's fine. And call me Daryl Huff. It's okay.
One big family, boss.
Yes.
I have one question for, I think, 3 different bills: the Silver Alert, the Harm Registry, and the License Revocation bills. They all need to be implemented. When will these programs likely start?
Normally I'd call the superintendent up for that also. The goal is to expedite them. Of course, the program, for example, I'll just start up before Soup gets up here. There's $250,000 already to implement the Silver Alert. We even had, I believe, a concern this last year about an individual that was lost. So no time like the present. And closing that loophole, like Chair Kidani said, has to be done right away, just because we have those general concerns.
In relation to SB 2475, the department has already been working very collaboratively with our private school counterparts, as well as our charter school and EOEL partners. We are ready to stand up the registry, actually starting today, as it's become signed into law, and we'll work feverishly to continue to support our students in keeping them safe. Thank you.
And I think it goes without saying, the summer EBT program, it's time to roll, because we don't want children to be hungry this summer.
Governor, I'm not with the media, but I am with Lavaiola Charter School. My concern is that they've been in a building that is full of lead paint and mold, and it hinders kids' learning and their ability. And the guard on this is my children are in that school, and because I love the program so much, but the state must do something for these old buildings that the children are supposed to be in.
Absolutely correct.
They lost their lease, and now they're supposed to be in the recreational park buildings, and we sat in the classroom while there were leaks on the children's heads. Stuff is coming down with mold and mildew, and I went in there with a mask and my dusting all down, and the smell was horrendous. So for these kids to have to stand in there and suffer through that, I'm committed item. I got onto the confrontation, and I brought it to their attention. And there should be a mold and lead-based paint addendum that goes to every parent that informs them on what to look for when the kids are signed on.
Yes. Yeah, so after the press conference, I'll give you my cell phone, and we'll make sure we get that information right to the DOE. That's been an ongoing issue. We have older schools, and another example was also on Big Island on the Kona side up Mauka. Superintendent, which school was that? That was the school over in Kona side that had to have remediation real quickly. Earlier this, yes, exactly. So you're right. Yes, no longer voiceless. So thank you for that, for sure. And it's a good time to come into Capitol, and we have the superintendent here today. So we'll make sure that's toward the top of our list. You bet.
Next and final question comes from Mark with Hawaii Public Radio.
Hi, Governor. Regarding the Silver Alert program, can you describe what it'll look like? I know it might follow a little bit what the Amber Alert looks like. So will it be on cell phones? Are we thinking just on like the radio or TV, things like that? Can you describe how that'll look like?
Absolutely, and I'll bring up DHS also if you would, but the goal is to be basically the same. When we have Amber Alerts, which is for young children that go missing, we're able to put out immediate warnings all across our networks, and it's usually been cell phones, is my understanding, although we do alert, of course, the press to speak up. Silver Alerts need to be similar, I believe. I don't know if I've got extra information from DLE or from DHS. Oh, there we go. Forgive me.
We're working on this right now. We need to reach out and coordinate with the different counties as well as emergency management. But what I envision it happening would be very similar to a call would come in to PSAP public safety warning. And if certain conditions are met, then it will be referred to our department to determine whether or not the conditions are met so that we can issue the notification. It's going to be very similar to the KEIKI alert, but it should be very similar to that.
And also, and the conditions basically are over age 65 and cognitive decline or cognitive concerns. There are some circumstances in which people under age 65 have disorders of memory, such as Pick's disease, which is an early onset form of dementia. And we want anyone who is struggling with safety to be able to have access if it's a kind of a memory and or age-related concern. So anyone who's vulnerable. Well, that's why it also specifies cognitive decline. So there are some individuals, people can have traumatic brain injuries and so on. But the purpose, the largest number of people by far are individuals that are much older and would tend to have Alzheimer's disease.
We'd like to welcome key stakeholders up to the podium while we commence the bill signing and subsequent photo taking. Ke olu olu. If you are a legislator, please. Any other key stakeholders for any of the bills? 5 total. Mahalo nui.
Public safety. Whoa, boy. You guys all good? Yeah, come in. Well, good. All right.
Yes, please.
All right. So we've got. I'm also joined here by Joy and Sharon, who, my apologies for not calling you out. Fantastic. Thank you. First bill up is the relating to summer electronic benefits, EBT benefits transfers for the children's program. So this adds $20 million of food for our kids. Relating to education, this is our preschool program, and again, many pieces of legislation championed by the team, by Lieutenant Governor. It's been a passion of hers, and the amount of positive impact enhancing our preschool programs is going to be enormous. We all know that the return on investment for our society is enormous when people invest in early education, and that's really what you've seen in the last 2 years. So, fantastic. this is relating to education. This is the measure that we talked about, allegations of harassment that we worry about to protect our keiki. And closing that loophole is absolutely central. So we're grateful that this legislation passed. As you can see, there are some pieces of legislation that are initiating new giant programs, like when the legislature gave us this huge tax break for Alice families. And then there are other things that are just meant to fix and patch holes where we've been struggling with. And this is a very important one. So thank you, guys. I'll go on record, these pens are not very valuable, frankly. The psychological value may be very good. Senate Bill number 2305. This is our silver alert bill, and it's really important. And we've had many cases. In fact, a lot of them have actually been on Big Island, where we've had a loved one that has wandered. And there are just going to be a lot of individuals that have this need going forward. So I'm really grateful. Something that people prioritize. And this came right out of the advocates. The ARP, yes, was in our ear and it only took one session. So you have undue power and authority. Yeah, thank you. And I have to say, I'm not sure I appreciate getting an AARP card just the other year. But, hey, all right. And then finally, the long-term care bill. So, we have the highest life expectancy in the country, as Jack will attest to. And it's not lost on us. Having the best healthcare system has meant that people are able to survive and to thrive in Hawaii. But that also means there's just a lot of long-term care needs. And Jack, who was our director of health years ago and was gracious enough to come back to us this year to be kind of our big think guy over at the Department of Health with Dr. Fink. He's been fighting for things like this because he is always looking into the out years and to see what we're going to need in the future. And this is absolutely a large piece of it. So providing long-term care and augmenting our system is a game changer. So thank you, Jack, for this. And thank you, legislature. Yes. We're going to have to, you're a prop now. Our friend.
Find the light, Keith. Okay, over here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Here. Oh, yeah, I'm good. Anyone else?
Yes.
Everyone, this formally concludes today's bill signing. Mahalo.